Hello my dear viewers, welcome to section B of Kcse Mathematics, paper 1, the year 2024. I'm Michael Samuel teacher. So let us begin with section B on question 17. So you need to know in section B there are 8 questions. As a student, you are required to only attend any 5 questions. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I will do all the questions. So let us begin with question 17. On a market day, Abdul had 38 goats. So Abdul had 38 goats, while Chebet had 56 goats. Chebet sold twice as many goats as Abdul. After the sale, the number of goats that Abdul and Chebet remained with was in the ratio. The ratio is 3:5. As in the ratio 3:5 respectively. Determine the total number of goats sold by Abdul and Chebet at the market. Then part B, Abdul and Chebet raised a total of 97,600 shillings from the sales of goats at the market. Abdul's selling price per goat was 5% higher than that of Chebet. Determine the ratio of the earnings of Abdul to Chebet from the sales of goats. And part C of the question, Abdul decreased the selling price per goat in the ratio so that in the ratio 19:21 for the goats that remained. Determine the new selling price per goat. So we begin with part A of the question. So we are being given information that Abdul had 32 goats while Chebet had 56 goats. And Chebet sold twice as many goats as Abdul. So if Chebet sold as many twice as goats as Abdul, we can say let X be the goat for Abdul that is sold. And if that is the case, then Chebet sold twice. So that will be twice of X, which is 2X. So total number of goats, the one Abdul sold is X, and Chebet 2X, so which will amount to 3X goats. So after the sale, the number of goats that Abdul and Chebet remained were in the ratio that is 3:5, or in that ratio 3:5, and therefore we say that after sale, so Abdul had how many goats? That is, it will be 30. Since he sold X goat, it will be X 32 minus X. Since he had a total of 32 goats, he sold X, so it remained with 32 minus X. And the same case for Chebet. Initially he had 56 goats. So and he sold 2X, so it remained with 56 minus 2X goats. So for this, they were in the ratio of 3:5. This is the goats remain, and the goats remain were in the ratio of 3:5. So the ratio of Abdul is to Chebet For the goals that remained, they increased to 5. And there is what they remained with. So 32 minus x all over 56 minus 2x will be equal to 3 over 5. So we can cross multiply. So we have 5 times 32 minus x, the bracket will be equal to 3 multiplied by 56 minus 2x, the bracket. We open the bracket, so 5 times 32, so we get 160. Then 5 times x, that is 5x, is equal to 3 times 56, that is 168. Minus 3 times 2x, that is 6x. So we can rearrange them. So we shall have minus 5x plus 6x will be equal to 168 minus 160. So this is x. X is equal to 8. So x represents 8. So Abdul, so determine the total number of goods Abdul and Chebet sold. So Abdul sold 8 goats. For Chebet, sold 2x goats, so 2 times 8, which is 16 goats. So the total number of goats, is what Abdul sold, which is 8, plus Chebet, what he sold, 16, and we get 24 goats. So that is the number of goats that were sold by Abdul and Chebet. So we can move on and we go to part B of the question. So for part B of the question, Abdul and Chebet raised a total of 97,600 shillings from the sale of goats at the market. Abdul's selling price per goat was 5% higher than that of Chebet. So determine the ratio of the earning of Abdul to Chebet from the goats. So we actually don't know the selling price per goat for Chebet, but we've been given for Abdul is 5% higher than that of Chebet. So we can say maybe let y be the selling price per goat for Chebet. So Abdul's selling price is 5% higher than that of Chebet. So that is 105%, 105% of y, which is 1.05y. So that is Abdul's selling price. So Abdul and so we need to know what actually Abdul earned after selling the 8 goats. So Abdul earned 8 times, since he sold 8 goats, so and price for each goat was 0.05. So times 1.05 y, so which is 8.4 y shillings. Then for Chebet earned, so he sold 16 goats, and the selling price per goat is y, so that will be 16 y shillings. So total earnings is 8.4 y plus 16 y, which we end up getting 24.4y. But from the information given, the total earning is equal to 97,600. So the total earnings, which is 24.4y, is actually equal to 97,600. And therefore, we get the value of y. We divide 97,600 divided by 24.4, and we end up getting 4,000. So therefore, since we needed to determine the ratio, so we need to get to the total earning for Abdul and also the total earning for Jabed. So Abdul actually got 8.4 y, and y is 4,000. So this is 33,600 shillings. And for Jabed, he actually sold and earned 16y, so that is 16 times 4,000, which is actually 64,000. So we need to get the ratio of Abdul's to Jabed. That will be 33,600 to the ratio of 64,000. So if we simplify this, it shall be 21 to the ratio of 40, and that is the ratio of the earnings from the sales of the goods. So we move on to part C of the question. Abdul decreased the selling price per good in the ratio 19:21:4. That for the goods that remained, so we need to determine the new selling price per good. The new selling price per good. So the ratio, the selling price, Abdul actually decreased in the ratio 19:21 for the goods that remained. Now we need to know Abdul's selling price, and that is 19/21 of original selling price. So original selling price from the previous part B, I've seen that for Abdul's it is 1.05 y, and we know the value of y, so that will be 1.05 times 4,000, and I get 4,200. So the new selling price, which now has reduced, new selling price will be now the ratio that is 19/21 of the original selling price, and the original selling price is 4,200. So if you work it out, we get 3,800 or 3,800 shillings. So that is about part question 17. We move on to question number 18. So the price of pens in a bookshop changed in the months of February, March and April. The price of a pen was 2 shillings less in the month of February than the price of a pen in the month of March. In the month of April, the price of pen was 2 2 shillings more than the price of a pen in the month of March. The bookshop sold pens worth 4,200 Kenyan shillings in February. In April, pen worth 4,500 Kenya shillings were sold. So we take Kenya shillings to be the price of a pen in March. To take X shillings to be the price of a pen in March. So part A, we are required to write an expression in for the number of pens sold by the bookshop in February and also in April. Part B, the bookshop sold 50 more pens in February than in April. Determine the number of pens sold in February. And part C, determine the percentage change in the number of pens sold by the bookshop in April compared to the number sold in February. 2 marks. So we begin with part A. So write an expression in X for the number of pens sold by the bookshop in February. So for this case, we needed to understand this part here, that the price of pen was too less in the month of February than the price of a pen in the month of March. In the month of April, the price of a pen was 2 shillings more than the price of pen in the month of March. And the bookshop sold pens worth 4,200 in February. And if you have been given the expression, an expression in X for the number of sold pens sold by bookshop in February. So in February, from the statement given here, price of pen was too less in the month of April. So if X is the price of pen in March, so we have February, then March, and then April. So that means in April it was less by 2 shillings. That is X minus 2 shillings. That was the price of pen. So the number of pens in the month of February is equal to the bookshop sold pens worth 4,200 in February. So that was the total sales in February divided by the price per pen, which is X minus 2. And that is the expression for the number of pens sold in February. So in April, number of pens sold, the total amount of pen sold was 4,500 divided by the number, price per pen. In April, the price per pen was 2 more shillings than the price of pen in the month of March. We know that in the month of March, it's actually X, therefore that will be X plus, it was actually more. So that is the expression for the number of pens sold by the bookshop in February and also April. So we get to part B of the question. The bookshop sold 50 more pens in February than in April. Determine the number of pens sold in February. So the bookshop actually was able to sell 50 more pens in February than in April. So we need to get the number of pens sold in February minus number of pens sold in April. So must give us 50. So the number of pens sold in February, we have worked it out in part A. That is 200 over x minus 2 minus, that is 500 over x plus 2 is equal to 50. Now we need to simplify this equation. So LCM is x minus 2 into x plus 2. If we multiply each term by the LCM, so in the first case we shall get x plus 2 multiplied by 200 minus, we do the same, we get x, that will be 45 multiplied by x minus 2 will be equal to 50 times x minus 2 times x plus 2. So we open the bracket, this will be 4200x plus, this will be 6400 minus, here we have 4500x, then plus 9000 will be equal to, work this out, that will be 50 times x squared minus 4, difference between two squares. So let us simplify this, we get minus 300x plus 400 plus 9000, that is 17,600 in 400 will be equal to, expand so this will get 50x squared minus 200. So let us rearrange this quadratic equation. So we shall have 50x squared and then plus 300x and then minus 17,600 is equal to 0. So in the simplified form, we divide each term by 50. This will be x squared plus 6x minus 352 will be equal to 0. Now I'm going to use the factorization method. So let me get the product AC will be minus 352 times 1, so that is minus 352, and therefore I also need factors of minus 352 such that when I add them I will get positive 6, that is the coefficient of x, and the factors will be 22 and minus 16. If you try to work it out, you get positive 6. So that middle part is written in the expanded form, and therefore that will be x squared plus 2x, 22x minus 16x minus 352 is equal to 0. So I take them into pairs, and therefore x is common, so we factor it out to get x plus 22. The other case, minus 16 is common, so minus 16 divided by minus 16, that is x, and this will be plus 22. and everything is equal to 0. So this can also be written as x minus 16 multiplied by x plus 22, which is equal to 0. So we need to factor it out. Either x minus 16 is equal to 0 or x plus 22 is equal to 0. And therefore x is equal to 16. So it cannot be negative, since this part is what will contribute to the negative value. So we don't have a negative value or negative amount. So we need to answer the question, determine the number of pens sold in February. So the number of pens in February will be that will be 4,200 divided by the number of pens, and that will be 16 minus 2, which is 14. So if we work it out, we end up getting 300 pens. So 300 pens were sold in the month of February. So we move on to part C of the question. So for part C, we determine the percentage change in the number of pens sold by the bookshop in April compared to the number sold in February. So we need to know that in February, number of pens 4,200 divided by that is 14, which we get as 300. So in the month of April, the number of pens is 4,500 divided by 18. Remember it is x plus 2, so and x is actually, so that's what we end up actually getting, and if we divide, that is 250. So to get the percentage change will be divided by 250 minus 300 divided by 300 times 100. So we get minus 16 into that percent. So that negative sign shows it is a loss or a reduction. So that is 16 to that percent. That's a reduction. So we move on to the next question. Question number 19. Airport S is 1700 km on a bearing of 300 degrees from airport R. Airport Q is 800 km on a bearing of 15 degrees from R. In the following figure, airport R is represented by point R. So we are going to use a scale of 1 centimeter to represent 200 km, shown on the figure, relative figure. The relative position of airport S and Q. Then we are going to use the scale to draw or determine the distance from airport S to airport Q in kilometer. Then the bearing of S from Q And part C, an aircraft flying at a speed of 400 km per hour left S for Q at 8 a.m. Determine the time when the aircraft was exactly 1000 km from airport R on its way to Q. So airport S is 1700 km on a bearing of 300 degrees from airport R. Airport Q is 800 km on a bearing of 215 degrees from R. In the following figure, airport R is represented by R. So we are going to use a scale of 1 cm to represent 200 km shown on the figure, the relative position of airport S and Q, and then we use a scale drawing to determine the distance from airport S to airport Q in kilometer and the bearing of S from Q. The bearing of S from Q. So we are going to begin, and therefore from R, airport S is 17 km. So airport S, it is 1700 km. So the scale is 1 cm to represent 200, so divided by 200. So and here we get 8.5 centimeter. So from point R, and that is on a bearing of that is 300 degrees. So from compass direction, so we have 300. So whatever is remaining is 60. So from this point R, we are going to measure an angle of 60 degrees, and we will have measured the angle of 300 degrees. That is clockwise. That is the true bearing. So let us use so we measure an angle of 2 degrees. Measure an angle of 60 degrees at that particular point here. So then I use the ruler. And therefore, we also require now to locate point S, which is now, in our case, it will be 8.5 centimeter from R. So let us use the compass and measure 8.5. So that's where point F is. Point S. So that particular point, this is 8.5 centimeter. And then we have also point Q. airport Q is 800 kilometer on a bearing of 215 degrees from R. So we measure the converse direction at the angle from point R, and in that particular case this is 180. Then there is an excess of, that is minus 180, that is 535. And again I measure an angle of that 5 at this particular point, and then I should be able to locate point Q. So I measure an angle that is 35. So let us measure an angle at 5 degrees. So that 5 degrees at this particular point, and therefore use a ruler to join. When the distance is 4 centimeter, so I'll measure 4 centimeter. So that's 4 centimeter, and that's point R. I mean point Q. So that's point Q. Therefore I can join point SQ. And then point SQ so again point SQ. So the other information, now use the scale to determine you have done. So you have located point S and Q. We have used the drawing to find the distance from airport S to airport Q, S to airport Q. So we can answer that particular question of part B, Roman 1. Distance. So let us measure that particular distance. So that distance is 9 centimeter. That's 9 centimeter. It is 9.0 centimeter. And we know that 1 centimeter represents 200 kilometers. So that will be 9 times 200, which is 1,800 kilometers. So that is the distance SK. Then at Roman 2, the bearing of S from Q, the bearing of S from Q. So the bearing of S from Q will be, so we are going to draw the true nodes at point Q. So at this particular point we draw the true nodes. 2 moles. Now measure that particular angle, the L of this angle, the bearing of x from, so you can measure this angle, or actually you measure this acute angle, and then you subtract from 360 in terms of either the two modal combos, bearing or true bearing. So we can use a ruler and we measure. So for this one it is 35 therefore the bearing of bearing of S from Q is that is S is 35 degrees north of east, or in terms of true bearing, that is 360 minus 35, 325 degrees to 3 digits. And finally, an aircraft flying at a speed of 400 km per hour left S for Q at 8 a.m. Determine the time when the aircraft was exactly 100 km from airport R on its way to Q. Point Q. Now, so whatever we are supposed to do is, the question is, an aircraft flying at a speed of 100 left S for Q at, so determine the time when the aircraft was exactly 100 km from airport R on its way to, so from S to Q. At what particular point was the aircraft 1000 kilometer from R? So using the scale that we have been given, so 1000 kilometer divided by 200 kilometer, so it will be represented by 5 centimeter. So we need from R as the center, then we need to draw an arc on SQ, which is 5 centimeter, that will be 1000 kilometer. So let us take point R as the center, so a length of 5, so that's where the point is, and that particular point we label it as T. So that means from this point all the way to R, it is 1000, that's 1000 kilometer. So, and it left S at 8 a.m. So we need to measure the distance ST. So the distance ST will be distance ST is 0.2 0.2, it is 0.2. So ST is 4.2 centimeter. So in terms of kilometer, that is 4.2 times 200 kilometer, which we get as 840 kilometer. 840 kilometer. So time taken is given by distance over speed, and therefore distance is 840 kilometer. We divide by the speed, which is 400 kilometer per hour. So if we work it out, we shall get that is 840 divided by 400. So we get 2 hours and 6 minutes. 2 hours 6 minutes. So we require the time when the aircraft was at T. So that will be 8 am. We add 2 hours and 6 minutes. So this will be 10:06 am. So we move on to question number 20. The following figure represents a piece of land in the shape of a trapezium ABCD. Lines AB and DC are parallel. AB and DC are parallel. Point N is the midpoint of AB. The land is divided into 3 triangular plots. Then line AB is equal to 100. AD is equal to 39 meters, and MD, we have MD is 41 meter, and angle ABC is 30 degrees. So we are required to calculate the area of the triangular plot AMD. So we need to find the area of this triangular plot AMD, and hence the perpendicular distance between the two parallel sides. The perpendicular distance between the two parallel sides. Also, we are supposed to calculate the length of BC, then the length of MC, and then calculate the size of the obtuse angle BMC. So we begin with the first part A. So calculate the area of the triangular plot AMD and hence perpendicular distance. So we can see that for this length here, triangle, we have been given side AB and also MD, and also the other part AB is 100 meters. And M, since M is the midpoint, we can also be able to get AM, so which is 50 meters. This is 50 meters. Now for this triangle AMD, we have all the sides, and to get the area, we can use Euler's formula. So area is given by the square root of S bracket S minus A bracket into bracket S minus B multiplied by S minus C. Now for this case, I labeled the sides according to the vertex opposite to it. For this one, A is equal to 41, the other one is M is equal to 39, and this one B is equal to 50. Now to get S, it is a sum of a half of A plus B plus C. Those are the sides, so that will be a half of 39 plus 41 plus 50, so which will be 65. And here for our case, we have A, let's consider A to be 41, B to be 39, and C to be 50. Then we substitute into the formula, so area is the square root of S is 65, then we have 65 minus 41, then multiplied by 65 minus 39, then multiplied by 65 minus 50. So if we work with this out, this will be 65 times 65 minus 41, that is 24, 10 times 65 minus 39, that is 26, 10 times, the other one is 15. So we work it out, square root of 608,400, we get 780 meters squared. So that is the area of triangle AMD. The other way to get and ends, find the perpendicular distance. The other way of finding the area of a triangle, is a half base times half. So in our case, let the perpendicular height from D, we drop the perpendicular height from D, that will be, let it be H, and we are looking for H. We already know the area of this triangle, which is 780, will be equal to a half times base, that is AM, is 50 times. So this 780 is equal to, this will be 25 H, and therefore H is 780 divided by 25, which is 31.2 meters. So that is the perpendicular distance between the two parallel sides. Next, part B, we need to calculate the length of BC, So how are we going to get the length of BC? That will be much easier for us since we know some of the sides. BC, we are looking for BC. We know this angle, 30. know the angle 30 degrees. And since we know the angle 30 degrees, the other way we can use the trigonometric ratio. So from C, let us drop this perpendicular, which is actually equal to 31 point, that is 31.2, as we have done in part 2, and that will actually help us to know this angle. We can use the sine 30, so sine 30 degrees, which is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, and we are after BC, so that is 31.2 over BC. Therefore, BC is equal to 31.2 all over sine 30 degrees. So if you work this out, shall get BC 62.4 meters. Then we also calculate from and 2 of part B, we calculate the length MC, this length MC. So to get that angle, now we know BC, and BC is now 62.4. We know this angle, we know one of the angle, and we know two sides, MB 50. So we can be able to use actually cosine rule. We can use the cosine rule. So let this will be M, opposite to this angle, this will be letter B, and the other one letter C. And let us use cosine rule. So this is the side we are looking for. So B squared is equal to C squared plus M squared minus 2cm cosine D. So that's what we are actually looking for. And in our case, C is 50. So 50 squared plus M is 62.4. We square it minus 2 multiplied by 50 multiplied by 62.4 multiplied by cosine 30 degrees. So this is 2500 plus 62.4 squared, that is 3893.76, then minus 2 times 50 times 62.4, that is 6240 cosine 30. So working out this, we get 6393.76 minus, so working out this, we get 54,003.99852. So working out again 98,9.76148. So now to get B, it is the square root, 98,9.76148, which will get us 31.46. So MC is 31.46 meters. Then part C of the question, we calculate the size of the obtuse angle BMC. So this is the angle we need to get. So already BC, we have gotten it, which is 62.4, We have also found MC, which is 31.46, and we have this angle. So we can be able to use the sine rule. This is b over sine theta. Sine b is equal to BC, this side is n, so that is BC over sine n. That is the angle we are looking for, and therefore B is 31.46 over sine B, that is sine 30, will be equal to BC over BC is actually 62.4 over sine n. So let's multiply. We shall have sine n is equal to 62.4 sine 30 divided by 31.46. So we end up getting n is equal to the sine inverse of 0.9917. We have to this out. So n is 82.61, and that is the angle BNC, or angle N. So that's for question number 20. We move on to question number 21. Number 21. For this question, it is based on multiplication of matrices, inverse of a matrix, formation of matrix equation, and also solving matrix equation. So two matrices P and Q are such that P is 3, 7, H4, and Q is 5 minus 4, 3 minus 2. So we determine the determinant of PQ is 3. So we are required to determine the value of H. Then we find the inverse of matrix P. Then part B, Patel and Lagat purchase watches at M shillings per watch and phones at 2 shillings, N shillings per phone. Patel purchased 12 watches and 28 phones for 24,600 shillings. Lagat purchased 15 watches and 40 phones for 34 shillings, but 4,500 shillings. So we need to form two equations in M and N, and then we use matrix method to determine the price of a watch and that of a phone. So part A, Roman 1. So we are going to determine the value of H. So value of H. So the first thing we have to do is actually we find the determinant of PQ, that is 3. So we need to find the product of PQ, and then we find its determinant. So PQ, we take 3, 7, H4, multiply by the matrix of PQ, 5 minus 4, 3 minus 2. So we multiply, and since these are 2 by 2 and 2 by 2 matrix, we shall end up getting a 2 by 2 matrix. So first row multiplied by first column, the second matrix. So 3 times 5, that is 15, plus 7 times 3, plus 21. then 3 times minus 4, that is minus 12, plus 7 times minus 2, so minus 14. Then second row times first column, so 8 times 5, 5h, plus 4 times 3, that is 12. The other one, second row times second column, 8 times minus 4, that is minus h, minus 4h, and then 4 times minus 2, that is minus 8. So let us simplify it. This will be 36, the other one will be minus 26, this is 5h plus 12, and then minus 4h minus 8. So to get the determinant of PQ, which is equal to 3, I multiply the product elements in the main diagonal, so that is 36 times minus 4h minus 8, then minus the product of the other diagonal, so minus 26, so plus 26 multiplied by 5h plus 12. So if we work this out, we get minus 144h, but 6 times minus 8, that is minus 288, plus 26 times 5h, that is 130h, plus 26 times 12, that is plus 312. So let's work this out. So minus 44 plus 138, that will be minus 140, meaning minus 14h, minus 288 plus 312, that is minus minus 288 plus 312, we get plus 24. Remember, the determinant is actually equal to 3. Therefore, we rearrange this. We have 14h will be equal to 21. So h will be 21 over 14, which is 3 over 2, or 1.5. So that is the value of h. Then part A Roman 2, we find the inverse of matrix P. So the inverse of matrix P, inverse of a matrix P is equal to 1 over the determinant, and then we interchange those elements. Interchange the elements in the main diagonal, so we have 4, 3, and the other one is change the sign. H is minus 1.5. H is 1.5, so that will be minus 1.5. And the determinant, so determinant of P, product in the main diagonal is 12 minus 7 times 1.5, which is 10.5. So we get 1.5. So the inverse of the matrix 1 over 1.5 multiplied by 4 minus 7 minus 1.5 is 3. We can also try to work it out or simplify it completely. So this will be 4/1.5. Actually, we open, we get 8/3. The other one would be -7/3. Then 1/1.5 times this value we get -1. The other one we get 2. So that is the inverse of matrix P. Part B, Roman 1, Patel and Lagarde purchase watches at M shillings per watch and phones at M shillings per phone. Patel purchased 12 watches and 28 phones for 24,600 shillings. Lagarde purchased 15 watches and 40 phones for 34,500 shillings. So we need to form two equations in M and N. So for Patel, he purchased 12 watches, and for 12 watches it will cost 12M. Then plus he bought phones, 28 phones at M shillings per phone, so that will be the cost of phone will be 28M, and the total gave 24,600. Then for the other person, Lagarde, he purchased 15 watches, so the cost of 15 watches will be 15M. Then for 40 phones will be 40M, and the total cost is 34,500. We can try to simplify the two, so this will follow that. We can simplify by dividing 3 by 4 is common to all, so we get 3M plus 7M will be equal to 24,600 divided by 4, we get 6150. So this is one of the equation, and the other one we can divide it by 10, so I have 1.5 M plus 4M will be equal to 3450. So we have formed two equations in M and N. So part B, Roman 2, we use the matrix method to determine the price of a watch and that of a phone. So from the equation that we have come up with, so we are going to rewrite it in matrix form. So equation that will be 3, 7, 1.5, 4, 5, 4. So actually that's what we have here, the vector, and the constant variable, the matrix variable, then multiplied by the matrix variable, which is M and N, will be equal to 6150, 3450. Now, from what we actually got in part A, Roman 2, so this is actually what we are going to use in our case. This is what we shall use in our case. So we have, now we are going to pre-multiply by the inverse of the matrix, and we got the inverse of the matrix, which was 1 over 1.5 multiplied by 4 minus 7 minus 1.5, 3, then multiply by this matrix, 3, 7, 1.5, 4, multiplied by mn will be equal to, again we multiply the constant matrix by the inverse, 1 over 1.5 multiplied by 4 minus 7 minus 1.5, 3 times 6150, 3450. So we multiply this out, multiply the matrix, we should end up getting 1 over 1.5. Let us multiply this matrix, the two matrices, get 1.5, 0, 0, 1.5. Multiplied by mn is equal to this one. We have 1.1 over 1.5. Multiply this matrix and this one. We shall end up getting 450 and 1125. So now we multiply by the scalar. So this we shall get 1, 0, 0, 1 multiplied by mn will be equal to, again multiplied by the scalar, each element in the bracket, we get 300 and 750. 1, 0, 0, 1, this is an identity matrix and it is equal to 1. Therefore, n is equal to 300, 750. So n is 300 links and n is 750 shillings. So the price of a watch is 300 and that over phone is 750. So we move on to the next question on statistics. So members of the environmental club planted trees. The number of trees planted by each member is recorded as follows. So those are the values. The number of trees planted, and that is the raw data. So part A, using a class width of 5 and starting with the class 6 to 10, make a frequency distribution table for the data. Then you state the model class. Then you estimate the mean number of trees planted, and finally on this grid provided and in the same axis you are going to represent the data using a histogram and also a frequency polygon. So we begin by part A. So we have been given the class width. We use a class width of 5 and also we start with a 6, class of 6 to 10. So from this data given here, the lowest value, if we can check very well, it is 6, that is the lowest value, and the highest value, if we check again correctly, it is 33. So lowest value here is 6 and the highest value here is 33. So this will help us to identify up to what class are we going to put in place. So we start with a class of 6 to 10, then 11 to 15, then 16 to 20, this will be 21 to 25, 26 to 30, and then 31 to 35. Think up to that since the highest value is 33. So up to 35, that's fine. So the other thing we need to do is to count and put the place for tally. So let us tally all the data, and then we are easily be able to get the frequency. So we can start. So we start with 24. So 24, there's one time. 12, 21, 9, 7, 32, 18, 17, 11, 19, 16, 24, 6, 33, 9, 18, 12, 16, 17, 29, 27, 21, 8, 15, 8, 14, 28, 12, 9, 16, 13, 31, 33, 17, 8, 22, 23, 10, 19, 14. And from there now we can have the frequency column. So if we add this, we get 9, the other one is 8, here is 10, 6, 3, and this is 4. Certainly if we add all of this, it will be up to 40. Then from there we need to get mid x. So for the class we add the extreme values and then we divide by 2. So 6 plus 10, that is 16. That is divided by 2, 8. The next one, 11 plus 15, that is 26. Divide by 2, 13. In other words, since the class interval is uniform, we can add the class width. So 13 plus 5, we have 18 plus 5, 23 plus 5, 28 plus 5, 33. So the other information still that we require, because we are going to stage the model class and also estimate the mean. So since we shall have to estimate the mean, we also need to put column for fx, So 9 times 8, that is 72. 8 times 13, 104. 10 times 18, that is 180. 6 times 23, that is 138. 3 times 28, that is 84. And 4 times 33, that is 132. Now you can go straight to Roman A, Roman 2 of part A. State the modal class. Modal class. So modal class is the class that has the highest number of frequency or the most repeated class. So modal class will be 16 to 20. So that is the modal class. 16 to 20. That's our modal class. Then estimate the mean number of trees planted. Mean number of trees planted. So mean is given by sigma fx over sigma f, and therefore for our case the sigma fx, if it is added, we are going to get 710. So sigma fx is 710, sigma f is 40. So that will be 710 divided by 40. And this you end up getting 17.75. That is it. The estimated the mean number of trees planted. And since we are talking about the mean number of trees planted, we cannot be able to plant half a tree. So for this will be approximately to 18 trees. That is the mean number of trees planted. Then the other part now is we find histogram. Histogram. So that's what now we are going to and the frequency polygon. So for this part we are going to draw on the same grid histogram and also frequency polygon. So for histogram and frequency polygon, what we actually need is the frequency against the class limit. Frequency against class limit. So for that case, I'm going to make a column here for class limit, the class limit. So for this one will be 5.5 to 10.5. The other one is 10.5. So 11, the lower limit is 10.5 to upper limit 15.5. Then it's 15.5 to, actually let me write here class limit and the frequency. So from 5.5 to 10.5, 10.5 to 15.5, and this 15.5 to 20.5, then is 20.5 to 25.5, or 25.5 to 30.5, and lastly 30.5 to 35.5. So we shall require to now draw the axis. So I'll draw the axis at this point. Also here. The frequency here is we have 9, 8, 10, 6, 3, 4. So for this grid we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'll use 1 centimeter to represent 2 units. So this will be 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, then 12. That will be enough. Then on the x-axis, so this is frequency. Then on the x-axis, shall consider 2 centimeter to represent 5.5. So from here to 5.5. Then next is 10.5. Then we have 15.5. Then we have 20.5. Then 25.5. Then 30.5 and 35.5. Now we need to plot the points. So for the first one, between 5.5 and 10.5, we have so for this case, now we are going to consider that part will be up to 9. So and the 9 is at this particular point. So that's for the first one. Then 10.5 to 15.5, frequency is 8. Then the other one, 15.5 to 20.5, frequency is 10. And the other one, 15.5 to that is it, 20.5 to 25.5, frequency 6. Then 30.25 to 30.5. Frequency is 3, so it will be there. And lastly, 30.5 to that 5.5, frequency is 4. Okay. So that is for the histogram. Also to draw the frequency polygon on the same. We draw the midpoint of class, So we shall have, it will be 8, 13, 18, 23, 28, 33. So on the midpoint, so for the first one, now we go to the midpoint. Let's see how the midpoint is. The midpoint is there. And to the midpoint. And finally, also the midpoint of the knife. There they are not there. That will be very, very important. And then we join same straight line. So that is it. So for this case, this is our histogram, and this one is the frequency polygon. Question number 23. On the Cartesian plane below, triangle ABC has vertices as been given, and while triangle A triple prime, B triple prime, C triple prime has vertices as indicated. The line joining A double prime, B double prime is part of a triangle. So this one is part of a triangle. A double prime, B double prime, and C double prime. So triangle, part A triangle, A prime, B prime, C prime is the image of ABC under an enlargement center -3, -2, and the scale factor is -2. On the grid, draw triangle A prime BC, A prime B prime C prime. Then part B, triangle A double prime B double prime C double prime is the image of triangle A prime B prime C prime under rotation center 0, 0. So you need to state the angle of rotation, and then complete triangle A double prime B double prime C double prime. Then part C, of the question, triangle A double prime B double prime C double prime is the image of triangle A prime B prime C prime. Under a reflection, we are required to draw the mirror line and also determine the equation of the mirror line in the form y is equal to mx plus a constant. And thereafter, we describe fully a single transformation that maps triangle A prime B prime C prime onto A double prime B double prime C double prime. Now, let us begin. For this question, it tests on deflection and congruence, rotation about the center 0, 0, and also enlargement about any particular point. Now, so the first one, part A, triangle A prime B prime C prime is the image of this triangle given. So under an enlargement, center -3 -2. So -3 -2 -3 -2. So this is the center of enlargement. That is the center of enlargement. And therefore, we require to get the coordinates of those particular points. For this case, O is the center of enlargement. We just indicate there, O, that is the center of enlargement. And that means from our case here, we have O. To get for the center of enlargement, and that is, we have the scale factor. So image distance over object distance gives the scale factor OA prime over OA, which will be equal to OB prime over OB, which is also equal to OC prime over OC, which is 2. Therefore, we need to get to locate the image of ABC, that enlargement. We need to get A prime, we get B prime and C prime. So to get those particular points, now let we start with the first one. We're going to start with point A. Now we get to the last question. The gradient of a curve y is equal to x cubed plus 5x squared plus px minus 18 at x is equal to minus 1 is minus 15. So part A, we find the value of p and the equation of the normal to the tangent to the curve at, that is at x is equal to minus 1, and also we find the coordinates of the turning point of the curve. So we need to find the value of p, and since this is the gradient of the curve, we have been given is equal to minus 15, that is at the point minus x. So we need to find the derivative of the gradient function, that is dy dx of this equation given, and if we differentiate y with respect to x, for this one we get to 3, multiply the power, and then x we reduce 3, 1, then plus the other one is 2 times 5 x raised to power 2, we reduce it by 1, and then plus p times x, this is power 1, reduce 1, then minus 18 x power 0, that is x power 0 by 1. So this automatically, here we also multiply by 0, so that will be eliminated completely. So that will be 0 times 18 power x power 0 minus 1. So this is 3x squared plus 10x, then plus p. This will be 0. Any number raised to 0 is 1. So at point x is equal to minus 1 is given. So dy dx will be equal to 3 multiplied by minus 1 squared plus 10 multiplied by minus 1 plus p. So this is 3 minus 10 plus p, which is minus 7 plus p. But at x is equal to minus 1, dy dx is equal to minus 15. So minus 15 is equal to minus 7 plus p. And therefore p is equal to minus 15 plus 7, which is equal to minus 8. So p is minus 8. When we go to Roman 2 of part A, we need to find the equation of the normal to the tangent to the curve at x is equal to minus 1. So at x is equal to minus 1, what is the value of y? So we need to find the value of y at that particular point. So substitute into the equation. So where we have x, substitute with minus 1. So y will be equal to the minus 1 cubed plus 5 divided by minus 1 is squared plus, now we know p is minus 8, minus 8 multiplied by minus 1 minus 18. So this will be minus 1 cubed, that is minus 1, then plus 5, then plus 8, then minus 18. You end up getting minus 6. Therefore, slope of the tangent, slope of tangent at x is equal to minus 1. So we need to get the slope. The slope, and that is y dy dx. We got it at that particular point, it was minus 15. But now the gradient of normal to the curve, since the tangent and normal, they are perpendicular to each other, so gradient of normal will be 1 over 15. Remember, m1 times m2, they are perpendicular to each other, the product is minus 1. So gradient of normal is 1 over 15. And therefore, from that point, we already know that the equation we go to the point of the tangent is minus 1 minus 6. So let another point xy be on line with that normal, and therefore to find the gradient is y minus 6 plus 6 all over x minus 1, so plus 1 will be equal to 1 over 15. Cross multiply, we get 15y plus, so 15y plus 6 times 15, we get 90, will be equal to x plus 1. So this is 15y minus, will be equal to x, then minus 89. So y will be equal to a fifth x minus 89 over 15. And that is the equation of the normal to the tangent at that particular point. Then finally, part B, find the coordinates of the turning points of the curve. So we need to know that at turning point dy over dx is equal to 0. That is at the stationary point. And therefore, from what we have equation, it's at the turning point. So, and we know that dy dx is given as 3x squared plus 10x minus 8. That's actually what we got in part A. So 3x squared plus 10x minus 8 is equal to 0. So we can use quadratic formula to solve for x, and whereby a is 3, b is 10, and c is minus 8. So let us use the quadratic formula and solve for a, b, and for the value of x. So this element for a c all over 2a. So we substitute the value for this to be minus 10, then plus or minus square root of b squared, 10 squared, that is 100, minus 4 times 3 times minus 8, all over 2a, that will be 6. So we have minus 10 plus or minus square root of, so if we work out this, we get 196 and all over 6. So this will be equal to minus 10 plus or minus the square root of 196, that is 14 over 6. So in this case, either x is minus 10 plus 14 over 6 or minus 10 minus 14 over 6. So here we end up getting, this is 2/3, or the other one is minus 4. So we need to be very, very exact when x is equal to 2/3, y will be equal to what? So we substitute the value of x into the original equation, and we should end up getting exactly minus 20 and 22 over 27. And also when x is minus 4, substitute into the original equation. This is minus 8 there, so you should end up getting 30. So the coordinates of the turning point, will be exactly 2/3 minus 20 and 22 over 27. The other point is minus 4, 30. So those are the coordinates of the turning point. So thank you so much, and that is the end of paper 2, paper 1 of Mathematics Kcse 2024. Thank you so much for watching. Please support my channel by subscribing and also sharing to your colleagues. Thank you so much. See you in paper 2 of Mathematics. Once it's ready, shall upload it. Thank you.